Hello, my lovely Sagittarius. How wonderful to get to spend some time with you. It's amazing the wind soothed down just for you guys so you didn't have to get my up close and personal block the wind. Oh my gosh, if you're new to this channel, welcome into my channel, Joy to the World. And if you've been around, you know what to expect. This is who I am in all my color and in all my flavor. And I am Melissa Joy. I am your reader. Now, we're doing a body, mind, soul, and spirit reading going on. You got a bit of something going up. Let me just give you your preview. Yep. I know you know. You see all this coming on in? You ready to rise up and rule and reign in your world and overcome. And if anybody don't mind my crazy hair, it would be Sagittarius. So what I love is in the middle of this judgment and Hierophant energy. Some of you may have been having some trouble with some Gemini, maybe with the lockdown that occurred because that is the node that we were in when it was happening. Maybe some of you are about to feel this bit of Venus retrograde going on where old loves, old things start trying to come back into your life. And being that you're very forgiving, and you continue to expand and grow, you sometimes get involved in those type of things thinking, oh, I can be the bigger person. I can forgive. I can move on. They seem to have changed. Or maybe I was too harsh in judging them or letting it go because I just didn't have the energy then. Okay, so that's not really it, my friend. It's that thing that has been holding you back. It's almost like, yeah, pulling back of the arrow for a moment, but we let go so it can launch. You have so much further and so many more places to go, and not like further like you ain't there yet. No, there's so much that you get to experience that it begins now. You don't have to keep holding back, waiting, or restraining, because that's what patience can get on your nerves a little bit. Like, why do I have to keep waiting? And the W-A-I-T also involves W-E-I-G-H-T, very Jupiterian, but that's not what Jupiter's about. Jupiter's about this new liberation and freedom. And Jupiter has merged with the sun, oh thank God, and it's also dancing in the sign of Pisces, so there's no more of those perpetual endings. We're able to I could say level up, but spiral into life and not have to keep living under these conditions, paying that price, figuring it out. No, we simply get to live and experience and go, and one leads into the another. One leads into the another. Some synchronicity, and not just alignments that are sparks like random stars in the sky. They're connected. They're flowing. They are purposeful, wise, and divine is what I hear you saying. And that brings a lot of meaning to your life. And that is what this is. This is the meaning. This is the meaning inside it all. And this is like us being able to peek right inside your heart. The depths of where your earthen heart and your high heart come together, where your spirituality and practicality, where the rubber meets the road. Okay, so we're going to find out what your body, mind, and soul is talking about with all that. You no longer have to rule and reign over it. You get to be your natural self. Because for you, play is work and work is play, and it's all part of living each day. And you're like, yeah, because I don't put no conditions on it. I love my life. Well, they want you to be in the loving of your life and letting life love you. That's why they don't want you to go back to those old ways of getting yourself stuck in conditions with people or places or jobs or things. There's a special liberation coming in for you, because that is where the liberation occurs. It occurs in the heart of the sky. It occurs during the wedge of the zodiac called Sagittarius. That's where Ophiuchus is, and is kind of hidden and tucked away. And that's where the Chiron wound becomes healed, where we begin to realize our wisdom, our knowledge, our passion, our desire to serve is all to come together in us. Serve our well-being, because as we foster that, we don't have to get into agreements. We don't have to get into systems. We don't have to use language. We don't have to convince. We just follow and experience, follow and experience. And as you do, just like when nature does itself, it causes it to stay cleansed. It causes it to stay balanced. It causes it to stay in flow. And how would you like for your card, the Temperance, not to be what everybody else is saying? Patience. Because it really has to do with balance, preparing something for the longevity in the environment. It's like, you're made for this. You got this. This is so you. Yes, that just suits you perfectly. Ooh, that style, those shoes are so you. That hair is so you. And people see you, and that's the beauty. Okay, so that's kind of like some Libra energy coming in here for some of you. You might jump on that. Pardon me, I'm having hives, y'all. Because when I get really stressed, my neck goes out and I had hives with all that stuff going on with my son. So anyways, blessings to him. But we're moving past this having to howl at the moon, okay? To do what we feel like we're supposed to do. Let's get into what you desire. Oh, why are you trying to peek out and then go back in? Somebody a little bit shy about this. We're going to look at what you're shy about, and then we're going to shuffle. Look at that. Not having to sit there and beg for anything, not have to sit there and try and talk it out and ask for it. They're talking about you being your abundant self, and the abundance will overtake the barrenness and the poverty, and watch this prosperity come forward. The poverty won't even be seen anymore, because poverty is of spirit. Feed your spirit. No more waiting, my friend. They're saying leave it there with the Empress. Because look at that. Impress yourself. Begin to say yes to life and watch how impressed you are. Because that's what I mean about impress yourself. It's like, oh, I listened and this is what happened. I'm like, I'm loved. This is fantastic. This feels so good. That's what I mean about impressing yourself, because they're impressions. That's how your soul and your spirit speak to you. These knowingness, these whispers and nudges and little taps of conversation, and it becomes this beautiful, juicy, dynamic life. That's why that juice the fruit, your crown, your corona, and it's here on earth, my friend. It's here on earth. Look at you. You're like joy. I'm like, what? All right, assessing your lower half. That Sagittarius, right, is an instrument. Use it. Use it. Let your hips move and flow freely. Maybe go take some dance classes. Maybe go to a dance studio, or like there's a Latin night near my house once a month where they have the music out at the restaurant. And I was like, even though I was going to bed one night, I was like, what's going on? I hear something out my door. I just stood outside my door and danced a song or two and then went in and went to bed. It's like all that, all that passion. Yes. And I love it, because your head space is your booty space. This is the mind card, by the way. Not being controlled by the phases of the moon. Glass half full, glass half empty. You're like, I got glass and I have a source. I don't sit there, take time to measure how much is in my glass. I'm like, I pour some in, I'm thirsty, I drink it. Because you are the creator. You're not letting situations or things dictate or divine you. Because, that would make you look like this, and that becomes an optical illusion. This is not what we're focusing on. This is the golden self. This is the whole mind, because it is unknown, but it is knowable. As you begin to live and experience it and take it into your body and into your beingness, because you realize you hear the music and you're like, I'm someone who loves to dance. So you start dancing, you start moving, and you start changing that earth that you are, touching that earth, vibrating that earth, moving that earth. That earth is like, woohoo, okay. It seems to be that a whole new you is coming in. That protective nature, that quiet reservation that sits back there, that keeps you slightly distanced from stepping into the fullness of life. And everybody thinks you the bomb.com and you're so free and you're so living and you're so expressive and you're so whatever. Only you know what this is and what I'm talking about. You're like, if you knew how restrained I was, how restrained I am. Sagittarius can often fear commitments in relationships, right? Because it sits right there next to Capricorn. And it's like, somebody's going to trick me. Well, that's coming from Neptune being the sole ruler of Pisces. Now that Jupiter is going on in, is keeping Neptune where it belongs, upside down in the underground. And that Jupiter is up on top. So you're going to begin to express yourself and see how lucky you are in love. And not just love with lovers and people up in your bed. I'm talking about loving your life. Like taking the chance. We could say a risk. And beginning to experience the results. And you can do it little steps along the way. Divine, navigate, see what all that is. Okay, friend? They're saying step into my spirit next. Let's see what's going on with Saggy. Ooh, some of you need to go refresh yourself by the pool. Look at that. That's more than the plasma. That's coming into the creatorship, because we have the air, we have the water, and we have the sunlight going through there. Okay, we'll see you letting your Jupiter merge with the sun, so you're ready to be uber blessed. You're ready to be favored and privileged and for people to know it. And that doesn't mean you're suchy much and arrogant, because as you live, flourish, and abound, there's more than enough for everybody else, and you're not having to share off the front. It just is there for them to come and enjoy and embrace it in their own mind and in their own self. And it in no way tips your scales. That's that Libra part some of you were dealing with, okay? It's taken on people's trashy energies, and I don't mean trashy people. I'm talking about the part of them that needs to be put in the waste can. You're not that trash can. Apricot. So apricot has a lot of youthful, sweet innocence to it. That trusting nature and that trusting self. And look at the profusion of trust going on here. So it's all these little trusts. That's what I'm saying about like chance or the risk. It's not one big, I'm going to throw it all to the wind and try this one thing. No, it's these little things, this little bit of stepping out and expanding here and going here. And that little bit of, you know, that little bit, that whole lot of expression that's been buried so far deep down that you're like, man, people would just go the other way if they saw the full me coming. Little pieces, it's gonna keep coming, okay? Just like scales on a butterfly or the feathers on a bird, we look at them and we see so little of what is there. The downy and the under is like 5 to 6 times what is on the surface, okay, friend? Yes, there is so much more, but that's what makes you soft, unctuous, juicy, delicious, and divine. And it gets you in peace and harmony with yourself. It gets you aligned because there's no more having to hold back. That holding back has been a disservice to you. Let's see. Come on. All right, Sag. Let's get into your body. Let's get into your body. Oh, I see you right there. There we go. Okay, now for some of you, it's the love of your life. You're like, well, I never thought it would actually happen because, you know, I'm enjoying life enough and having fun, and I've been with people and have relationships and whatever else. But after a while, I kind of like lose my taste for it. Some of you are calling in the love of your life. And what happens when you come out from this old stuff and you start to be all of this down here on planet Earth and not just in that moon, being your full abundant self, and you are loving your life, you're loving not just the livingness around you, the livingness inside you, the fullness of who you are, not being hidden, restrained, cut off, set back, put away, kept in private, that type of thing. That is what we have going on here. And this has to do with like time being on your side, not having to have any remorse or regret if things pass by, but also not having to just jump brashly or boldly into anything. You be able to get in rhythm with yourself. I love that because that's where this was starting about. The rhythm, the dancing, you're an instrument. For a lot of you, dancing is something you might take a little dabble in. You watch little videos at home and practice there. You could even take like a single person dance class in the fact of like hip hop or ballet or something like that. But there's also something to do with partnership coming in here. Now you don't have to have a partner to go those kind of dance lessons. They take turns with each person, and in those few minutes, the fuel of fire that you have given yourself is this glow that begins to occur, the light that even illumines this desire and this dream, giving it permission to come forward and to step forward. Because the only one who seems to be bothered about who you are is you. And that's because you think you're too much. You got your cosmic closure on, you've got your blindfold there like, I don't know if I even want to see what else in here. Because I've been bearing and suppressing that passion for so long. I don't know why I'm going to look like a fruitcake. Don't decide what you're going to look like. Decide how you're going to feel. How does it feel when you're you, being yourself, private and intimately with yourself, when you're just sitting there dancing and moving, like that phrase that has been coined a handful of years ago, dance like nobody's watching? Imagine if you lived like nobody's watching, of course within legal rights, y'all. You know what I'm saying. But the truth of it all. Take that blindfold off. all that pestilence, all those suppositions of the mind of what people are thinking if they see all the you and know all the you, and you know, that could have come from some parenting paradigms when you were growing up, or maybe even in school. They don't feel that way. Dragonfly spirit is here where you at right there, showing up to clear away that old news and that old noise. So we got into our body. Let's check out your soul, Saggy, and see what's there. Ooh, resilience at the bottom. Burn away the past. Yes. That has kept you handicapped. That has kept your assets frozen. Oh, God. Why are you keeping your assets frozen, Sagittarius? Get it up and move it. Get your groove on. Get your pulse on. Because Sagittarius in the erogenous zone is known for the rear end. Matter of fact, if you are a Sagittarius sun, you've probably had a lot of people compliment it on it, no matter what shape it was in. You're like, why are people always looking at my rump and talking about my lump? Let's just mention Tina Turner is a Sagittarius. It has to do with those thighs and that backside. That's what people are drawn to, because it just gets moving and going, and the passion and the fire comes on out. And that's why Sagittarius is the softest of the fire, because it moves through the body. It is electric, it is chemical, and it is beyond this world at the speed of lightning. It is animated. All right. Well, Sagittarius, we'll just leave it there, and I encourage you to get your assets moving and grooving and enjoy feeling yourself and feeling free to be yourself in this world without that judgment, without that fear, in the fullness of life, the beauty of your expression. Look at this. Because see, the Wheel of Fortune also represents the whole world. But it can be the limited view of your perspective of how it has to be done because of how we were trained growing up. That's not it at all. Look at this. Take that blindfold off. Take that mask off. Let the whole thing pop on out for the world to see. Okay, friend? I love you, Sagittarius. And if you love this too, subscribe to my channel. Come be a part of this juicy deliciousness up in here. And you could also tickle that like button, give it a little touch of love, and help us rise to the top. You could also talk to yourself down in those comments, compliment yourself and say, my booty is mighty fine, and people have been saying that all my life. Joy, it's funny that you bring that up. You could also leave some emojis, all this fruit going on. Hey friend, I love you. We'll talk next time.